It's Wednesday, October 9th, 2013. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights Tonight.
Let's do this. Didn't we already do that show?
Well, we kind of
really recently.
We kind of reviewed it. You know, we used to do this thing on Geeknights where we'd preview a show. Like, we'd watch one episode and say whether or not it was worth watching at all.
That's because we had no ideas. We had to milk every episode of Geeknights we could out of everything we watched.
And then we'd do the review, which was all right, we've seen a bunch of the show. Should you watch it, but we don't spoil anything? And then we would do the final thoughts, which is we'll just talk about it. We assume you've seen it. And we haven't actually been able to talk about Attack on Titan on the show with spoilers. We kind of danced around everything in
That's
the other
what you want to do,
episode.
I kind of just want to be like, fuck spoilers forever. I don't believe in them.
Oh, yeah, but there's a good reason to review things without revealing everything about
People
the thing.
won't listen to my podcast because they believe in spoilers.
The point of a review is to tell someone whether or not media is worth consuming for them. For them, is the media worth consuming?
Are you an anime
not?
fan? Do you watch animes? Watch this show. The end.
Yeah. But we can talk about why. I mean, people like her. I mean,
you don't need to know why. Just
some
watch
people
it.
we know really like Kill La Kill. And some people we know really don't like Kill La Kill. I like Kill La Kill.
I like Kill La Kill.
I can describe what I like about the show, which would tell some people why not to like it. For example, if I say the words, Scott, Kill La Kill reminds me aesthetically of an updated Apocalypse Zero.
Awesome.
You might say something like awesome or fuck yes, but a normal human being would say, oh my God, and not watch it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, why? It's like the amount of time and effort it takes to get the reviews. You could have just watched it and found out for yourself.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Watch a whole show all the way to the end.
A whole episode.
Oh, one episode. That's what the preview's for.
That's all we've watched of Kill La Kill.
Well, Kill La Kill, yeah. So we'll get right into it. Kill La Kill came out very recently, and it's worth talking about early because it kind of proved that Trigger is not a flash in the pan.
Right, so if you don't know, there's a new anime studio on the scene called Trigger. They started by making Inferno Cup.
Well, they started by doing two other piddly projects.
It's probably just contracts to get the money, right?
Yeah,
you do like a video game FMV, stuff like that.
They did one episode, just the animation of Idolmaster.
Yeah, Gonzo did the same sort of things, right? They made but the first anime they made, which is on YouTube, is Inferno Cup. And when you saw Inferno Cup, you knew whoever was making that knew the deal. The animation quality wasn't there in Inferno Cup,
which was kind of by design.
But you knew whoever was writing that thing was real anime.
But
that is the real deal.
Could have been a flash in the pan.
Could have been a flash in the pan. Look, the anime Bancho, whoever it is that makes the peeping life and all that stuff, right? They had Turning Girls, which is great. And now the current one is like Detective Dog Agency, which is it's not Turning Girls.
Yep, or even look at the history of Gynax. Gynax is all over the place in terms of good
Evangelion,
and not good.
Mahoramatic. Whoa!
Yeah. I remember a lot of people started watching Mahoramatic because they were like, Gynax. It's Gynax.
At that time when that came out, Gynax could do no wrong.
Yep, and then I watched Mahoramatic and I was like, what?
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 Chobits, same show.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so...
But then, Little Witch Academia.
Yeah, so Little Witch Academia was by Trigger as well, and that's like, whoa, they can fucking animate, can't they? They had the skills, they just didn't use them on Inferno Cup.
And we talked about Little Witch Academia, so I'll just link to that episode.
Yeah.
That in Little Witch Academia is great.
Yes, but it's possible, yet again, that yet another fluke, right? Some weird YouTube show and a weird special young animators funded project.
Yeah, a cool one episode short. I mean, every Genius Party is great.
That's Studio 4C. They're right. I mean,
but
come
it's
on.
hard to turn one of those into an actual show.
At least I think it is. Yeah. So, but even still, it was Studio 4C. So it's still possible that this Trigger, the two things they had done were sort of special cases, and they were both good. So it's like, are they really good, or were they just special cases?
Now they kickstarted another episode of Little Witch Academia.
We're waiting on that still.
Yeah,
The jury's out, but. In the meantime, they have a real anime, an original anime, not based on a manga, not based on a light novel, not based on a visual novel, not based on anything, just its original anime TV series, And they made it all on their own, the writing and the animating, and it's on TV now. The first episode was last week. The second episode is tomorrow, the Thursday, the 10th.
Yep.
It's
Episode 1.
It's going to be on the Crunchyrolls.
If only I had thorns like a thistle.
Yes.
Episode 2. So sexy, I'm gonna faint.
Yeah. So it's Kill La Kill, and is this going to be good? Based on episode 1, conclusive, 100%. This isn't no doubt is remaining. Studio Trigger is the real deal.
You may not like
the
Kill
new
La Kill.
Gynax.
Some people will
The
not
new
like Kill La
Kings.
Kill. But
I know people who don't like Kill La Kill.
But watching this episode, it was like the flashback. Like if you were watching the show about me watching this episode,
I had to
of Kill La
watch it
Kill,
again, and I was like, did someone actually just make that? Our savior, I bow to thee.
The
Yes.
background would go black, and it would cut to flashbacks of me sitting in the audience of the RIT Anime Club, or sitting in the lounge in Peterson 3, watching a weird old anime that Scott found in the Anime Club library that some old senior in the club told us to watch, going, whoa.
Yeah.
This show, we'll talk about it again.
You know, it hasn't been in a long time. I think it's anime season. People have been like Space Dandy, the anime that will save anime.
I think
Maybe
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan, Kill La Kill, Space Dandy. The battle against the Dread Spectre of Moe is well underway.
Well,
and
Attack
we're
on-
maybe winning.
I've said this before, but in more detail, Madoka was the show that got people like us to watch anime again as it was coming out because it was just so great. But Attack on Titan got all the anime fans who weren't watching a lot of anime, all of them, not just people like us, to watch that show and then start watching other shows. And now Kill La Kill and then the coming Space Dandy, and suddenly there's all these shows coming out, and we've got this huge audience of anime fans who kind of came back to anime because of Attack on Titan.
Not to mention a bunch of shows that were sort of under the radar that were dug up, say like a Space Brothers or an Eccentric Family, that were just sort of sitting there hiding amongst the dregs.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Silver
that
Spoon.
people bothered to uncover because they got brought back to the yard.
And, you know, once again, when we reviewed all that anime from that season before it came out, we're still pretty accurate.
Yeah, so let's talk about Kill La Kill a little bit.
Okay,
The animation is the best.
But it's this sort of retro cool, but with good modern techniques.
Yeah, it's somewhere between, like, remember that Kemonozume that was the weirdly animated? It's got a little bit of that, a little bit of Fist of the North Star.
It's got a little bit of, not Fist of the North Star, more like Otaku or Tokujuku. the
and
man school.
It also has even a little bit of Akira in there, right? Like those scenes with the giant red text and zooming, the camera just going down the town from the top of the school, zooming out like that.
All the characters in Utena have analogs in this show.
It is Utena plus something.
Plus Apocalypse Zero.
I mean, it's like you have a student council that rules this school.
They're the elites.
They have these powers, and it's definitely something. It's really lines up with Utena a lot.
Yeah, but it's almost, the way I would almost say this is kind of a
There's
stretch.
even a Wakaba that is just, yep, that's Wakaba right there.
So
that's Utena.
remember Escaflowne, the show? It was a show.
Yep.
And then there was the movie, which was kind of...
Whoa.
So it was a parallel thing. It was not in the same universe. It was it was the same characters, but every character was sort of distilled and more intense. Like take one aspect and then push it to the extreme of what that character was like in the show. Kill La Kill kind of is, you could say that it's kind of like that with Utena, that you look at these characters, it's like, yeah, take one part of Utena, her tomboy badassitude, and just take it to the ridiculous extreme and give her half a pair of scissors.
Yeah. So, yeah, what the show is about is there's a horrible school that is ruled by a student council, and they have uniforms that give them powers.
Oh my god, the Goku Seifuku.
Right. So the
one star.
so most of the students are regular students, and they're just basically victims trying to get through school without getting killed.
But they're all pretty chill with it. They're like, this is just how it is.
And well, they're also kind of badass, even the regular students, right?
Yeah, the
they're not
0-star students are pretty badass.
right. So then, I mean, it's a badass town. That badass rabbit.
No, it's like
living in a lion's den.
It's like the island that Kenshiro goes to at the end.
Oh, Okay. But anyway, so then there's 1-star uniforms, 2-star, and 3-star. And the more stars, the more powerful you are. And those are the people who are favored by the student council who hands out the uniforms.
Yeah, in the opening, basically.
So it's usually like the
show,
the sport club captains are really powerful and stuff, right?
At the beginning of the show, you get this, there's a normal class going on in this obviously post-apocalyptic world. Very, very Apocalypse Zero style in there. And then, out of nowhere, this crazy Trigun villain-looking guy just breaks down the door and fucking murders a kid. But the kid kind of deserved it because he tried to steal a 1-star Goku uniform.
Yeah, 1-star is like you are a really good basketball player on the basketball team.
You know what? A
2-star is like captain of the basketball team, and 3-star is like there's these elite 4 who are under the student council president we don't even know how many stars that girl has.
Also, her surname is very similar to Toga's surname.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Kiryuin.
Yeah, but anyway. The 3 stars are the elite 4 people who are underneath the student council president, which is the disciplinary guy, who's the guy at the beginning.
Oh my god, he reminds me of Dynamite's, what's his name?
Yeah, the guy who's in charge of all sport clubs, the girl who's in charge of all non-sport clubs, and then that weird guy with the computer. I don't know what he was in charge of. I didn't pay that much attention.
This nerdy kid who had stolen a 1-star Goku uniform, and the guy's like, "You shitbird, you're not even worthy of wearing this. Go ahead, put it on, or I'll just kill you right now." And he puts it on, and he's immediately transformed into a handsome badass.
Yep. Well, as badass as that body can get.
Yeah, but he turns handsome, and he's awesome. And then they just kill him.
Because he's a 3-star. He's immune to 1-stars.
Yep. So there's a little bit of paranoia going on in there too. Red level, blue level.
I mean, yeah, kind of the kind of paranoia that people listening might not have understood what you meant.
Yeah, our paranoia, the role playing game. Listen to
tabletop role playing game, right? Anyway, so this girl shows up in town who's clearly Utena. And she goes to the school. She works her way up there. She gets harassed by Wakaba.
And she's got
typical anime intro with a transfer student.
Yep.
And she, you find out she's looking for something, right? She's up to no good, and she's not afraid of any bullshit. So she finally sees that student council president. She's like, "Who's the top dog around here? That's the one. I'm challenging you." And she's got this giant half a scissor is her weapon. It's basically a sword.
This show is all about those moments where a character who is more important than you notices something and does the slight eyebrow raise and says, "Interesting." That happens all the time.
She's got this giant half a scissor, and she's coming from transfer student first day to challenging basically the god of the school.
Yeah,
and then shit goes down.
I cannot express to you how this show has done.
And that's
something.
episode 1. It does not waste any time.
Madoka was a legitimately, generally good show. It made me cry. It made me care. This show did something that no show has done that's new in a long time. It made me say out loud, "Oh, fuck yes," in the middle of an episode.
That's right. That's what this show is. It's fuck yeah, the show.
Yeah. So follow this show. Watch one episode of it without thought. If you like it or don't, it doesn't matter. If you care about anime, you at least need to know that this show is happening because this show might be important.
This show may eventually become, right, like the show that really made Studio Trigger cemented in.
Yeah, this might be Trigger's
right.
Ava.
It's like Gainax did important things before they made Ava, right?
Yeah, Daikon animation.
Yeah, but what Ava was like Gainax cemented. This could be the Evangelion of Studio Trigger, this savior of anime. Please save us. Are there any other newses? We did a Geek Bite.
So it's kind of inside. I got a small Geek Bite. I randomly found some episodes of Teen Titans Go, which is a
really got nothing to do.
No, it's a redo of Teen Titans.
Why did they redo? Why did they just keep going with what they had?
Because what they had kind of sucked. I don't like Teen Titans.
Okay.
I don't like the characters. The original cartoon. You
should try reading the original comic.
Yeah, I know better.
Like all that Donna Troy bullshit.
The original Teen Titans cartoon. What many people, not just me, complained that it was pseudo-anime, that it was an American-style lame-o cartoon that took the tropes, like the superficial tropes of what people would stereotypically associate with anime, and just kind of rammed them into the show to take advantage of the then soaring popularity of quote-unquote anime.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 2002, 2003, when anime was on this huge plateau peak before the steep decline.
which is
popularity.
hopefully coming back.
I think it's coming back. But it was not a good show. I didn't like it. There wasn't much going on there. Teen Titans Go, which started in April this year, is really funny. And I need to watch more episodes before I review it fully, but I find it utterly hilarious, and the reason why is simple. One, it's funny for the same reason Anime News Nina is funny. To use a recent example
I like
of
Anime
something.
News Nina.
Exactly. Why do we like it? Because Anime News Nina isn't afraid of actually going to kind of dark places and making fun of itself and making fun of its
I mostly
own
like
fans.
it because it's one of those things where if you aren't a person who goes to anime cons and stuff like that, then none of those things will mean anything to you, right?
Yep.
And it's one of those really targeted, it's really funny to a very small subset of people.
Yep. But it also will basically ridicule the kinds of people who also go to that site. It ridicules the site's customers. It'd be like if the New York Times ran a comic that just literally shat all over the culture of the people who read the New York Times. The scary fanboy guy. It is not a kind comic to that kind of person.
Like our valued customers?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Okay.
So Teen Titans Go kind of goes in that direction, and that it's not like the comics, and it's more like Adventure Time. In that goes to kind of weird and dark places.
So is it again? So it's bandwagoning again.
Yeah,
What's
but
popular now? Let's copy that.
but well done.
Mm.
And I've actually enjoyed the episodes that I've watched. We'll see if I like it enough, but it's kind of dark.
Well, I don't need another show to watch.
I think people die. There's a lot of oddly sexual jokes that don't really seem to fit who you'd expect the show to be aimed at. The show's aimed at 30-year-olds instead of 13-year-olds.
Sure.
Just put it like that.
That's what 30-year-olds say when they like a show aimed at 3-year-olds.
Nah, because My Little Pony was aimed at 11-year-olds.
Same thing.
It just happened to be popular among...
All right.
Yes.
Let's move on.
But anyway, things of the day. So Scott's thing of the day is pretty good. I did not see this.
So in the 70s, New York City, not the greatest, right? Not like it is now. And there was actually, at that time, the police were getting underfunded. Not only was there crime and it was way worse than it is now. It was like taxi driver kind of shit, right? They were going to underfund the police and fire departments and such. So what the police did, the police union, made this pamphlet, Welcome to Fear City. It had like a scary skull on it and it's like...
The graphic design of this is evocative.
Yeah, I'll just give you...
everything I love from the year 1981.
It's basically a pamphlet that gives advice to tourists who are coming to New York City. And like, here's a small excerpt. Nevertheless, some New Yorkers do manage to survive and even to keep their property intact. The following guidelines have been prepared by a council of firefighters and law officers to help you enjoy your visit to the city of New York in comfort and safety. Good luck, Grim Reaper Face.
Item number 3, avoid public transportation. Item number 4, remain in Manhattan.
8, do not leave valuables in your hotel room and do not deposit them in the hotel vault. It's basically this, fear pamphlet, and it's pretty hilarious.
I want to
print them out and hand them out.
I want to replace the year 1975 with the year 2013.
You also have to replace some other things like
just replace
Mayor Beam. Mayor Beam is not the mayor anymore.
No tourist would know who the mayor is.
Tourists know who the mayor is.
No, they'll think it's a funny name for Bloomberg because they both start with B. And you know what? Blasio also starts with B, so it'll be fine.
No, it's Beame.
Yeah, it starts with B. They'll think it's a stupid, weird nickname.
And
they won't
Blasio,
get it.
it's D. Blasio.
Yeah, but it's B.
He did a Reddit AMA.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Wasn't too bad.
I'm going to vote for him.
Yeah, we don't have much choice.
What, you going to vote for the Republican creepy guy?
No, I just don't. The only thing is de Blasio is going to do the thing that I really care about, which is fuck the cable companies so they can stop rubbing their nipples. He could do that.
Boo.
Boo. Boo.
Yeah, guys, South Park started again. Watch it.
Watch South Park.
Yeah, we don't talk about it much anymore on the show. We watch every South Park immediately. It's one of our favorite shows, right up there with Adventure Time.
Oh, today is Wednesday. You know what there is today?
South Park.
That's right.
Yeah. You know what happened 2 days ago? We didn't watch yet. New Adventure Time, too.
Okay.
You're a little more behind than me.
I don't watch the Adventure Times as soon as they come out.
Yeah, I do.
I let them pile up a tiny bit.
Yeah, but that Infinity Train.
Well, that was a good one. On Monday, I just watched
This whole place
Running
is
Man.
butter.
It is.
A lot of you need to watch that episode. Well, later. We'll talk about that later.
The thing is, the people it needs to help won't understand.
So speaking of Fear City, this is a really well done prank. This guy rigged up a car to where he's hiding in the seat, the driver's seat.
I've seen ones like that where the car drives up and there's no one there because he's disguised as a seat.
But instead of having no one in the car, he put a pretty realistic skeleton in the car.
Okay.
With its arms like set up.
Is this the same guy who did the one where he?
Yes.
Same guy.
Yeah. Go to this guy's channel. It is nothing but pranks.
How does he run? Doesn't he run out of fast food places to prank?
Look at this. Look at this channel. Drive through Rocky Raccoon. Drive through floating money. Drive through my wallet catches on fire when I try to pay. Drive through. I get a shock and faint. And then the car drives away on its own. This guy is the master of the pull up through a drive-through window and scare the people there.
He's got one thing going for him.
It's definitely somewhere in the South because he keeps going to Chick-fil-A's and people keep saying y'all. Oh, I randomly paused it and look, the subtitle says y'all.
Nice.
So the reason this prank works is that one, it's dark. So the skeleton looks kind of real.
Good one.
At first. Two, even though a human who's rational will, once their brain catches up, think to themselves, there's no way that is a skeleton.
It is a skeleton.
Well, anytime you're a human being.
Of course it is. What else would it be?
And a skeleton is in a place that you did not expect a skeleton to be, there is at least a moment of, oh, fuck.
There's one in my body. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but if you see it and you don't expect to see it, like if I look at an x-ray machine.
I love skeletons.
I expect the skeleton to be there, but like if I wake up in the morning.
When I played Magic back in the day, I liked to use Drudge Skeletons.
Oh, Drudge Skeleton was the best.
Thematically, I like skeletons.
If you're home, right, and you wake up in the morning and you go to the bathroom.
Staphlos, my favorite Zelda
and there's
bad
just
guy.
a skeleton like laying in your tub. I predict there'd be at least a moment where you go, oh, whoa, what the fuck?
I'd be like, yes, free skeleton. Sweet. Those are expensive.
So the reason
I wonder if it's real.
The third reason this prank works is that the skeleton drives up and doesn't do anything. It just sits there.
Oh, it'd be so much better if the skeleton was like putting its hand out as,
No, so
ordering.
it just sits there, right? If the people like lean in, it leans forward like it's going to ask him a question. Usually they lose it then. And it can also, and this is the final important piece, it can drive the car away on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this moment where it pulls up and these people are kind of like, what the fuck? And then the woman's like gonna just throw the food in the car and then it starts to drive away and she just loses it. But then this guy in the background is like, oh shit, he leaving. This video is so great.
That's the line right there. Oh shit, he leaving.
Now, if I were gonna do this prank one step better, I would buy a car from a junk lot with trash, acquire a real human skeleton, rig it up like this so the car just drives up, and that's it. It just stays there with the real human skeleton. Wait for that shit to go down. Wait for that to unfold.
The police to show up.
Yeah. It's a real human skeleton. Where'd it come from? Oh my God.
Then the car sets on fire.
Yes. No, just the skeleton sets on fire.
Oh.
That would ruin a few people's days and probably require some counseling, but that's how I roll.
You wouldn't want the fast food restaurant to set on fire, though.
No, you just got to make sure just the skeleton.
Right. Okay, so meta moment.
The book club book is Stasiland. You should read it. We got a bunch of video on the internet. We did resume production of Geeknights Presents Utena. There is an episode I'm currently editing. I'm going to try to finish it before the weekend.
I'm uploading more Netrunner videos for anyone who cares about that anymore.
We are going to accelerate the production of lively streamed Geeknights video in the near future.
Shaker Classic, Salty Bet, Thursdays at 9.
Yep.
Cinemassacre, it is October. I keep forgetting to mention this because I'm watching it.
Monster Madness.
It's Monster Madness at cinemassacre.com. If you care anything about horror movies, you should be watching that every day of every October for as long as you live. Anything else?
Not really. Follow us on Twitter. Share our videos. The more they get shared.
Some people want to join the forum, but joining is sort of broken-ish right now.
Email us just so we can talk to you.
Email us, and we've got like 2 people on the list, but I don't know what to do about it right now.
We interviewed the vanilla guy a long time ago. We should call him up again and be like, yo.
He's not going to help us.
No, we should be like, yo, you guys just given up on the open source side of vanilla?
No, they sort of haven't, but it's just taken them a long time.
They've basically given up on it.
They actually ungave up a little partially recently.
Yeah, just give us access to updated repos.
They are. We can just get it on GitHub, but it's not solid, and I don't have time to make it solid.
Yeah, we can just throw it up anyway.
It's not going to work too well.
Yeah.
It's kind of buggy.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I submitted a patch to it, actually.
Anyway. Yeah, MagFest is coming up. We'll be there. New York Comic Con is this weekend. We will not be there because New York Comic Con kind of sucks.
The weekend after that is Burning Con and also a bunch of Netrunner tournaments.
We will be there. I'm running the very cleverly named scenario
I
called
haven't finished my scenario.
Let Sleeping Dogs Die.
Monday is Columbus Day, which is a bullshit holiday. But
It's not the worst holiday.
We don't have to go to work.
I don't know if I have work or not.
I definitely do not.
I got to figure that out. I don't think I have work, but Nisey is not closed this year on Columbus Day.
Good for them.
But I think my holiday schedule is just Nisey's holiday. I don't actually know. I got to figure that shit out. Maybe I just not show up to work and act like, I don't know, I thought it was a holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
Except I know some people listen to this show, so I'd have to edit that out if I was going to do that.
Just do it anyway.
You know what? I think it is a holiday.
Whatever.
I don't know. I don't know.
Make it a holiday, boss man.
So, Attack on Titan ended season 1. There might not be more in a while.
Years.
Yeah. Well, maybe not years.
Years.
Maybe not.
Years.
There's a way they could do it in a shorter time.
Island episodes.
No, they don't have to. They wouldn't do island episodes. That would kill that momentum. But if you care about spoilers, stop listening right now and just
Why
go
would
watch
you even be?
Attack on Titan. Seriously. If you're an anime
People
fan
have been
at
talking
all,
about this show so the fuck much. How can you just continue to ignore it? Even we're talking about it. That's right. We couldn't even ignore it.
Yeah, we started we went from I'll wait till that show to we went from.
But then again, I ignore all those shows that everyone else talks about, like the Breaking Bads and whatever.
I watched a good chunk of Breaking Bad. It's all right. It's all right. It's it's no House of Cards.
I watched one episode of that, man.
House of Cards is my favorite 3-dimensional show in recent memory.
Yeah, whatever.
It's right up there with Archer, South Park.
Yeah.
Simpsons has actually been pretty good lately.
Whoa, someone's gonna hate you on that.
Yeah, Simpsons has been consistently as funny as like season 10 and 11.
I haven't seen a Simpsons in a long ass time.
Yeah, it's kind of back.
But I still remember it so much. A guy at work was all like, "Is that some guy had a mug with 2 hammers on it?" And the other,
you were like, "Oh yeah."
No, the other coworker was like, "Is that a Stonecutter's mug?" And I'm like, "We do." It's like we know what's. Take off the stone of shame.
So
put on the stone of triumph.
Well, the other day we were looking at FARC and there was that article about Reagan's arm being cut off, and I was like, "There's going to be a picture of Jebediah Springfield's head being cut off in the first few comments on FARC." Sure enough.
Yep.
And it was someone who's been reading FARC as long as I have, so there's probably seen.
Maybe I should just rewatch every Simpsons ever in order.
You know,
I can get a torrent of that, right? Easily.
I watched every episode of The Simpsons, including the specials on the Tracy Ullman Show, as they came out with my family. Up until the year 2000. And then at RIT, that year, when we were freshmen, we continued that and watched every episode as it came out on that 1974 color RCA.
We didn't watch all of them.
Almost all of them.
We watched a few of them.
We watched most of them because we watched them while we were hanging out in the lounge before we played D&D. Anyway, I digress. Fucking spoilers. Yeah, there's Titans in the walls, I guess.
I don't know. See, now here's the thing. Based on there's people who've read the manga, which is way ahead of the anime.
Oh, I got shit to say about the manga,
right?
And those people, but we'll get to that.
But basically, it's like, okay, so when I see, if I didn't see the stinger in that last episode, I turn it off, and people were like, "Oh, you got to go back and watch it." So I go back and I see it, and it's like, okay, they zoom into the hole in the wall, and you see a Titan face, and it's like, you could interpret that as there being literal Titans in the walls, and apparently. That's what it is. People say.
But I see where you're coming from, especially because the way it's drawn.
Yeah, and it's so quick. It's like that could just be like the stinger of the last episode, being like, "Heh, you know, not literally being Titans in the walls. It could also be interpreted as like a Titan looking through the hole in the wall.
Yep.
Or who knows, right? You don't know what the hell.
It could just be interpreted as "stay tuned" or "now all is not as it seems."
Exactly.
But the problem with Attack on Titan now. Is similar to what happened with Full Metal Alchemist, but to the extreme because of internet and progress of society. The manga is coming out, and there are now 3 classes of people in regards to Attack on Titan. People who are reading the updated scanslations of the manga.
Well, in an English-speaking world.
Yes. Well, 4 classes. People in Japan.
Sure.
People who are reading the scanslated manga as it's coming out, the way we used to do with Death Note. Mm-hmm. People who are reading the legit translations of the manga as it's coming out. Mm-hmm. people who are only watching the anime. And what I
So
found,
the legit translations are almost caught up with the anime. Basically, like one more volume, and they'll be matching in English, and they're coming out once a month. So it's like there's probably a volume already out or coming out this month that will basically match the anime in terms of English, legitimately published English manga.
Yep.
And then like next month or the month after, you'll be ahead of the TV show in the legit English mangas. But
here's the problem.
The scans are way ahead of
Here's
that.
the problem I'm seeing. Commentary about the show, both on the internet and in Meat Space, seems to be driven by the false insight provided by those who have read ahead in the manga.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the problem of just, oh, someone spoiled something. It's the problem of someone watching the anime sees a Titan in the wall at the end and goes, ooh. And then the friend who is reading the manga way ahead says something like, oh, now you know about the wall Titans.
And it's like, oh.
By merely saying it with the definite article, one, you're spoiling, but that's one problem.
I don't care about that.
That is a problem, though. The separate problem is the discussions that follow trade spoilers as insight.
If the anime was all that existed, we would simply be saying, are there literal Titans in the walls, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, what happens
What were they,
if the sun
what were they
hits
trying
that
to
shit?
say there?
Is it getting out? What's going on?
Instead, we're saying, oh, I guess there's actual literal Titans in the walls.
And your friends who are reading the manga you'll see this watching the show. And it's subtly different from the separate situation of someone who has seen a show is guiding your commentary in a show, like someone watching Geeknights Presents Utena. We know what happens.
No.
But there's a subtle difference between using what you know to provide subtle insight versus using what you know to pretend toward insight. And people will say things like, but how do you not...
Well, instead of this meta talk, why do not we actually talk about Attack on Titan?
All right, I really liked the show, and actually I was really satisfied with where season 1 ended. It didn't end on a cliffhanger, in my opinion.
I was satisfied, but I would have liked a little bit more, right? It's like, yeah, that was a good kind of place to stop.
You know what I wanted to see? If there was a denouement at the end of season 1 that wasn't the Titan phase, I would have liked to have seen a shadowy noble figure like a king or someone talking to a shadowy military person where you don't see who they are, but they have one conversation like, it was revealed, was it? Oh, well, I guess you have to do the thing now. Very good, sir. Like one of those kinds of moments.
That could work.
That is what I want.
I definitely just want to know something about the goddamn king, queen, whatever the royal is.
Well, the question is it a King Bradley?
How could it not be?
Or is it an actually good king like the second in command?
Unlikely.
Because that guy, the guy who I forget his name already.
The guy who runs the military, he's the guy who was the judge of the court-martial of Erin. That guy is the head of all 3 military parts, the military police and the garrison and the survey corps. He's in charge of all 3. He's the number 1 military guy. Only the king is above him.
Now, in any other show, and what I would have expected and what I did expect from Attack on Titan, that guy would have been dumb or bad in some obvious way.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that for all appearances in the anime, he was fair, intelligent, and competent was amazing.
So one step away from the king is a guy who's apparently good. So is the king really bad?
Or at least not capricious and arbitrary, but fair and competent. He
Sure.
reminds me of what a character like Hughes from Full Metal Alchemist would be if they made it to middle age and were put in a position of power.
Yeah. So like immediately under him are, Erwin, the bald guy with the mustache.
Pixis. I love Pixis.
And I don't know who's in charge of the military police.
I don't know.
Yeah, who's the head of the MPs? That's probably going to be a bad person.
I think it'll be an incompetent person and not a bad person.
I think it'll be a person that's not the greatest person.
Because it was obvious from toward the end that the military police are not themselves individually evil, except Annie. They're just...
Is she, though?
They're selfish and mildly incompetent.
Right. I mean, look, we know there is some badness to the nobility because Pixis is playing chess with that noble person.
Yeah, but they might just be corrupt shitheads.
Yeah, and he wasn't horribly evil like Hitler.
But he was obviously corrupt.
He's not a good person, not on the side of goodness. He was like, I'll save my skin and be rich and live lavishly. Fuck if the Titans eat all the poor people.
He's neutral evil.
Yeah. Oh, let them eat cake.
But... I don't think the nobles themselves are evil. I think they're just dumb.
But there's definitely something up there, right? This is the thing, is that, Annie was, it's like, yeah, she was killing all these people and whatnot, and she turns into a Titan, and they smashed the walls, and they liked it. She was happy when Titans were in the city eating everybody. But why? Why would they, right? And it's clearly there is some battle between the people who can turn into the skinless Titans, the Colossal Titan.
Which I think is everyone.
Maybe. But the skinless Titans are, that group, the people who came from that town, which is obviously Raynor is the armor Titan. And you have to be dumb not to figure that out. I haven't read any manga that says that or anything. I will bet $100,000 that is what he looks the same, right? You have to be dumb not to realize that.
Yep.
It comes from the same town, right? Then you got Annie, clearly, obviously. As soon as you saw that female Titan, you knew it was her. Just as obvious. Colossal Titan, who knows who the fuck that is?
I do because someone spoiled it for me.
Oh, okay, but anyway. But they're all on the same team, right? And they're clearly, I think that they are fighting against, even though they killed the people in the towns, the civilians, I think their actual fight, that group, is against the royalty, right? And that's what the fight is. And basically, all of the civilians that they're killing, all the Survey Corps people and whatever, it's pretty much just like, they're working for my enemy, so
the Matrix.
Exactly. It's like, well, yeah, Agent Smith just took over that human who's not a bad person, but they're in the Matrix, they're part of the system. You're fighting on behalf of the military Survey Corps person, so you're my enemy right now, even if I like you.
It's possible.
And they were trying to capture Eren, probably to bring him to their side and tell him what was up, because they needed that Titan power on their side, and having him be on the other side, not so good.
The thing is, what's interesting is if their goal was to actually fight against humanity and cause all this damage,
they could have succeeded a long time ago.
There was no reason for them to stop, as far as we saw in the anime, in that first attack.
Exactly.
Because
they stopped in the first attack, yeah.
The first big attack.
Where they took down one wall.
The Colossal Titan took off all the guns on the top and kicked a hole in, and then the Armored Titan trivially broke down the gate into the inner side.
Yeah, they could have just gotten, it's a long way from there to the next wall.
That Titan, he could just go poof, be a Titan, and break through the wall without anyone helping him. It is obvious that they could have just done it. So either they didn't do it because that's not their goal, or they didn't do it because something happened that prevented them from doing it. Was it Eren? We don't know.
Well, the first time, right, is they just busted through that town, right, when Eren was small. Yep. The second time, Eren's appearance basically was what prevented them from breaking the second wall, the inner wall of that city. Because remember, they're breaking through like these cities that are like little nipples on the edge. So they had to break two walls, which is why it's a little confusing. It's like, why was there the Colossal Titan and then the Shield Titan? Well, there were two walls to break to get through, right? The one on the outside of the city and then the one on the inside of the city.
But if the Colossal Titan can get in, like perhaps Annie and Raynor, then why doesn't he just go, well, if he's in the military police, for example, like Annie, she could just gone poof and probably taken out everybody on her own. Because look, no one can stop her.
Yeah.
No one can. The show has shown us time and time again.
The Survey Corps can, kind of.
Yeah,
hardly.
No, they didn't. Every time they stopped her, she trivially escaped and was immediately kicking ass again.
Maybe, right? Well, remember, first of all, right, the strongest people are always join the military police. So
but they also are all lazy and corrupt.
And haven't practiced in a while. But maybe, right, the king will just turn into a Titan, and then what?
Yeah, I don't think that would happen, though.
There could be people on the king's side who can turn into Titans who are in the inside walls.
This is my problem with the situation. There is a as far as everything we've seen, there is a huge differential in power, and yet the people who have the advantage are not pressing that advantage, and we don't know why.
Yep.
Originally, early in the show, I had suspected that maybe those Titans that did that first attack were trying to cause enough damage to get humanity. It was a false flag.
That's my other theory, right? Is that they are actually on the side of the king. Remember, after that, there was that thing where they had to send, there was too many people. They had to send them all out to go get killed, and that killed off a whole bunch of the population so that the food needs went down. Maybe the royal people wanted that. Right? To serve their own purposes.
Oh, I thought it was more subtle. I thought that maybe the royalty wanted the status quo, and that these people who can turn into Titans did what they did despite all the casualties to force humanity to confront their problems and fight back against the regular Titans.
But
false flag.
But if those big
flag.
Titans could have just gone on behalf of humanity and gone out and killed all the Titans because they're so powerful.
Maybe not.
That colossal Titan could just go around killing all the Titans.
But the sheer number of Titans, and there's obviously a Titan spawner somewhere, Gauntlet style.
It's got to be something like that, right?
So many Titans.
Yeah. Who knows what the deal is? The basement will tell us.
Yeah.
At least, they didn't show us the basement, which is like, okay, you got to hold it off for some amount of time. Otherwise,
But the characters are trying to get
But
there.
at least they were like, let's get to that fucking basement. And it's like, okay, at least they recognize it and they just want to fucking go. They just can't legitimately.
Yep,
I'm okay with that.
You know how many times in Full Metal Alchemist was like, go right there, that's the mystery. We'll wait, blah, 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 plod, plod, plod.
Right. At least here, right, it's like, yeah, Annie's the fucking They knew. It wasn't some bullshit like, I wonder who it is. It's
that
like,
scene,
we know who it is.
That scene, I didn't realize what they were up to until they went down.
I didn't either. And then I was like, oh, yeah.
When they went down
yeah.
and Annie was like, I'm not going down there. And then it cut to Aaron's face. And suddenly you see like his fist is clenched and he's trembling and he turns around. That moment I was like, oh shit, son. Oh shit, son. That was one of my favorite scenes in the show, is that confrontation. Not the fight afterward, just that confrontation. I also like how the Survey Corps' plan there was actually really good. And they just got fucked by the fact that she had that ring. Like, she had also had a really good plan.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, the only thing that makes Annie so invincible is that her power of creating the armored spot on her body, right?
Yep.
Without that power, she would have been fucked so hard so many times.
Oh, and she can just tighten, and then when she gets untightened, she can just tighten again immediately. She's never tired.
Yeah, well, suppose maybe it's because she's keeps the skin off. Maybe
She tightened, got eaten, tightened again immediately after killing
She
people.
got tired a little bit from running a lot.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, she's super powered and super good
and
at
even
tightening.
despite all that, she just trivially kicked Aaron's ass twice.
Yeah. Aaron had to go all super angry mode,
And even then,
Able
she
1
still beat
style.
him.
Yeah, it's a mecha show, by the way. I mean, people have said this, it's obvious, but yeah, it's a mecha show.
I think all people can turn into Titans.
Obviously.
I suspect that either...
But then why did Aaron need to have an injection to make it happen?
I don't think he did. I think there's something else going on there.
All right.
But the other thing that could be going on is the Titans, either the mindless Titans are driverless, or the person in them is passive, like they're subsumed in. Like when Aaron was in that one time and his Titan just going apeshit, doing Titan shit, and yet he, inside of the Titan, is having this paradise dream.
Maybe
they all just have people having those paradise dreams. I'm also kind of worried that in the very beginning of the show, the first episode right away, Aaron has a dream / flashback to things that happen later in the show. What the fuck? Is he in a Titan the whole time?
Oh, don't give me that shit.
Is there an outside world beyond all this?
The walls of his mind.
Is it Matrix? How come? Is it a time loop, Final Fantasy 1 style?
Yeah.
Why does he have flashbacks to the future from the
anyway,
to the future from the past?
I don't know. He died, and that first time he died and is still in the Titan's belly.
Oh, that was so great. When that happened, because I didn't know. I was watching the show. And, shows like this will have an opener with characters. Most of those characters die. Then there's a new opener later with different characters in it.
Right, and it's like they were killing off characters left and right. And even though Aaron was the main, it's like at that point in the show, Mikasa could have been the main as well.
Yeah.
And it could have easily been like best friend dead early in the show, and now Mikasa is the main.
When he died, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And then when that Titan that kind of looked like him appeared, I didn't think it was him coming back. I thought maybe it was something like, oh, the Titan ate him and took on some of his aspects. Huh.
Maybe.
But then later it's like, oh, it's literally him.
Yeah, I figured it. When I saw that, I knew it was him.
Well, when they cut him out of the Titan, I didn't expect that. And then when he wasn't wounded and was wearing different clothes, that is when I started thinking back to the flash forward to the flash back, and I started worrying about time loops. It's just a dream.
Yeah. Who knows? What else is there to say about?
The mangaka knows, and some of the people who read the manga ahead.
Well, I'm gonna read it when the next volume comes out.
There is a way they could. Daryl Surratt calculated this based on the manga production rate and the rate at which the show covered the manga. They could do a 13-episode show next year, like in the summer, at the same pace of the current show. And then it's possible by 2015 they'd be able to do another 13-episode show. They could maybe do a 13-episode show, and then do some OAVs of side material.
Well, there was a material that was in the manga, which is, in the part of the manga that the TV show covered. It's not in the future, right? So it's something you should know at this point, but you didn't because you watched the TV show. There's a scene where they show in the past, basically, some soldier of the Survey Corps out in the wilderness is basically all alone and out of fuel and whatever, and just walking and is writing in a journal. And like a Titan approaches, right? And the Titan comes and talks to this and comes near this person. It's one of the mindless ones. And the Titan like bows before this person and talks about like Lady Ymir, which is, we all know, the giant slain by Odin and his, that they made the earth out of.
Well,
right?
You should know.
Right. If you don't know what Ymir is, what the mythology. Come on. This is like mythology 1. Not even 101, just 1, Anyway, and then the Titan eats the person, but the journal is left there, and then it shows you Levi and friends picking up the journal, and it's like, oh, so who is so-and-so? It's like, they're like, oh, so-and-so is dead. This is what so-and-so died for, and he's got the journal. So, Levi and the science lady and Erwin, they know about that, and I think there was like an OAV or direct-to-DVD. I think that was already made, actually, or something. Like, that material was covered in animation somewhere.
I really like Science Lady. I think she is my favorite actual character because she is so crazy.
Favorite actual character?
It's I like Erwin, Levi, and her the most. I like Mikasa a lot, but
Levi is sort of the King Cosmo.
Oh my god! I like people. Levi he breaks the mold. He's a mold breaker of that stone cold consummate badass because he's actually really emotional and sensitive and earnest and good, and he's a great, the character is not as straightforward as it would appear. And it's obvious that he's not as straightforward as it appears, and it's obvious that he struggles with things and that he's sad about things and that he has a really complex and deep personality. I like that about a stone cold badass. Erwin is just the tactical badass.
The show seems to really be pushing, its literal message that it just says to you like 20 times, which is, if you want to be able to change the world, you just got to become an evil fucker. Can you give up your humanity to rock the boat?
Not necessarily become evil, but become not necessarily
sacrifice
heartless either, but be willing to sacrifice great things and force other people against their will to make similar sacrifices.
Yep.
Yeah. I think everyone's a Titan. I'm pretty...
Well, that's kind of obvious.
Or maybe certain people are Titans. Maybe the people in the walls... So there's this old SG-1 episode, Stargate, the TV show, which I like, even though it's dumb. And to summarize the episode, the SG-1 team opens a Stargate. Do you know what the deal is with SG-1 at all?
They have a Stargate and they go to places. It's sort of like Sliders, only in the Stargate universe.
It takes place after the Stargate movie, and basically it's the researchers messing around with the Stargate, and they start plugging in other coordinates, and they start finding these gates everywhere. So they open a gate to one place, and it's this besieged citadel, deep underground, on a planet like Earth. And these people... The outside world is waging a genocidal war against them, and they're the last holdouts. So the Stargate people agree to help them. So they start piloting these remote robot drones, helping them fight against this outside enemy that is clearly waging a war of genocide against them. Yada, yada, yada. It turns out they were the Nazis. It's the Nazis' last citadel.
Yep.
The Nazis, the people in this fortress are horrible people. They all deserve to die. They are from within the Citadel trying to poison the atmosphere and kill everyone on the outside. And then the Stargate people are like, yeah, fuck you guys. And they just leave. Leave them to die.
Right. Attack on Titan, I feel like the royalty is the same thing.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Or maybe the whole city is just, they've said the Titans are out there to kill everyone else in the world. And they're supposed to hold out inside until everyone's gone.
Right, and there's also the sort of obviousness of that Titans are some sort of tool, some sort of lost tool technology. Like, we lost our mecha technology.
Looking in the openers and closers, all that Nausicaa-looking imagery.
Exactly, right? That's clearly what the deal
God
is.
Warriors? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but how, the real question is not necessarily how do the Titans work or what their deal is.
Yeah, lightning bolt from the sky, really? What?
Right. I'm more curious about what happened that made the technology lost. That's the event, not the event where like, oh, we invented Titan technology or we invented human technology.
Yeah.
We were right. But how did you go from the world in which Titans were a tool that people could use for things to the world in which people didn't even fucking know what the deal with Titans are, except for maybe the king and other people we don't even know about. And these walls were built, and there was suddenly an inside and an outside, and no one remembers what happened Big O style.
Though
right?
It seems like the elites and the leaders know way more than we do and way more than the other characters do. But for whatever reason, they don't say things.
And how did they know it, and how did everyone else forget it?
Because notice how when certain crazy things
happen...
happen...
And how come Aaron's dad knows?
Some normal characters flip out about things that happen, but people in leadership positions kind of don't. They're like, oh, it's a Titan. It's this kind of Titan, this kind of thing. Like, they're surprisingly calm about things that me watching the show... I would consider a major revelation about Titans.
Yeah, it's like we consider, right, it's on the one hand, we think it's cool that they're smart and that they just, they're not doing dumb things. Like Erwin knew there could be, an evil Titan among the ranks. But wait, how the fuck did he know?
Wait, the idea that a human can turn into a Titan alone should have been crazy, except a lot of people didn't seem particularly surprised by that.
Yep.
That is one of the biggest triggers. That thing right there. When it turned out Aaron can turn into a Titan, I was like, oh, fuck. How are people going to react to this? And notice how the normal soldiers flipped the fuck out. Everybody else was like, well, he can turn into a Titan, so we have to manage this.
Mm-hmm.
As though perhaps they have knowledge of people who can turn into Titans already. Erwin right away is like, there might be traitors in the ranks. He'd been planning to catch the traitors. Who would be a traitor for the Titans but a Titan? How do they know all this stuff? Mangaka won't tell me in the anime yet. I gotta wait. I'm not gonna read the manga.
I'm reading the officially published ones.
I'm going to wait for whatever happens with the anime. It's popular enough. I think there will be more. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
Sexy, I'm gonna faint.
Yeah, so it's Kill La Kill, and is this gonna be good? Based on episode 1, conclusive, 100%. This isn't, no doubt is remaining. Studio Trigger is the real deal.
You may not like
the
Kill
new
La Kill.
Gynax.
Some people will
the
not
new
like
Kings.
Kill La Kill. But
I know people who don't like Kill La Kill.
But watching this episode, it was like the flashback. Like if you were watching the show about me watching this episode,
I had to
Kill La
watch it
Kill,
again, and I was like, did someone actually just make that? Our savior, I bow to thee.
The background would go black, and it would cut to flashbacks of me sitting in the audience of the RIT Anime Club, or sitting in the lounge in Peterson 3, watching a weird old anime that Scott found in the Anime Club library that some old senior in the club told us to watch, going, whoa.
Yeah.
This show, we'll talk about it again.
It hasn't been in a long time. I think it's anime season. People have been like Space Dandy, the anime that will save anime.
I think maybe
Attack on Titan, Kill La Kill, Space Dandy. The battle against the Dread Spectre of Moe is well underway.
Well,
and we're maybe winning.
I've said this before, but
leaving spoilers.
The point of a review is to tell someone whether or not media is worth consuming for them. For them, is the media worth consuming?
Are you an anime
not?
fan? Do you watch animes? Watch this show. The end.
Yeah. But we can talk about why. I mean, people like her. I mean,
you don't need to know why. Just
some
watch
people
it.
we know really like Kill La Kill, and some people we know really don't like Kill La Kill. I like Kill La Kill.
I like Kill La Kill.
I can describe what I like about the show, which would tell some people why not to like it. For example, if I say the words, Scott, Kill La Kill reminds me aesthetically of an updated Apocalypse Zero.
Awesome.
You might say something like awesome or fuck yes. But a normal human being would say, "Oh my God," and not watch it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, why? It's like the amount of time and effort it takes to get the reviews. You could have just watched it and found out for yourself.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Watch a whole show all the way to the end.
A whole episode.
Oh, one episode. That's what the preview's for.
That's all we've watched of Kill La Kill.
Well, Kill La Kill, yeah. So we'll get right into it. Kill La Kill came out very recently, and it's worth talking about early because it kind of proved that Trigger is not a flash in the pan.
Right, so if you don't know, there's a new anime studio.
It's Wednesday, October 9th, 2013. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights Tonight.
Let's do this. Didn't we already do that show?
Well, we kind of
really recently.
We kind of reviewed it. You know, we used to do this thing on Geeknights where we'd preview a show. Like, we'd watch one episode and say whether or not it was worth watching at all.
That's because we had no ideas. We had to milk every episode of Geeknights we could out of everything we watched.
And then we'd do the review, which was the, all right, we've seen a bunch of the show. Should you watch it, but we don't spoil anything? And then we would do the final thoughts, which is the, yeah, we'll just talk about it. We assume you've seen it. And we haven't actually been able to talk about Attack on Titan on the show with spoilers. We kind of danced around everything in
That's
the other
what you want to do,
episode.
I kind of just want to be like, fuck spoilers forever. I don't believe in them.
Oh, yeah, but there's a good reason to review things without revealing everything about
People
the thing.
won't listen to my podcast because they believe. Which Academia was by Trigger as well. And that's like, whoa, they can fucking animate, can't they? They had the skills, they just didn't use them on Inferno Cup.
And we talked about Little Witch Academia, so I'll just link to that episode.
Yeah.
That in Little Witch Academia is great.
Yes, but it's possible yet again that yet another fluke, right? Some weird YouTube show and a weird special young animators funded project.
Yeah, a cool one episode short. I mean, every Genius Party is great.
That's Studio 4C. They're
Yeah,
right? I mean,
but
come
it's
on.
hard to turn one of those into an actual show.
At least I think it is. Yeah, so, but even still, both of it was Studio 4C. So it's still possible that this Trigger, the two things they had done were sort of special cases, and they were both good. So it's like, are they really good, or were they just special cases?
Now, they kickstarted another episode of Little Witch Academia.
We're waiting on that still.
Yeah,
We don't. The jury's out. But in the meantime, they have a real anime, an original anime, not based on a manga, not based on a light novel, not based on a visual novel, not based on anything. Just its original anime TV series. And they made it all on their own, the writing and the animating, and it's on TV now. The first episode was last week. The second episode is tomorrow, the Thursday, the 10th.
Yep.
It's
Episode 1.
It's going to be on the Crunchyrolls.
If only I had thorns like a thistle.
Yes.
Episode 2. So
On the scene called Trigger, they started by making Inferno Cup.
Inferno Cup. Well, they started by doing 2 other piddly projects.
It's probably just contracts to get the money, right?
Yeah, they
you
did
do like a video game FMV, stuff
They
like
did
that.
one episode, just the animation of Idolmaster.
Yeah, Gonzo did the same sort of things,
Yeah.
right? They made right? But the first anime they made, which is on YouTube, is Inferno Cup.
Inferno Cup.
And when you saw Inferno Cup, you knew whoever was making that knew the deal. The animation quality wasn't there in Inferno Cup.
Which was kind of by design.
But you knew whoever was writing that thing was real anime.
But
that is the real deal.
Could have been a flash in the pan.
Could have been a flash in the pan. Look, the anime Bancho, whoever it is that makes the peeping life and all that stuff, right? They had Turning Girls, which is great. And now the current one is like Detective Dog Agency, which is, it's not Turning Girls.
Yep. Or even look at the history of Gynax. Gynax is all over the place in terms of good
Evangelion,
and not
Mahoramatic. Whoa.
good. I remember a lot of people started watching Mahoramatic because they were like, Gynax. It's Gynax.
At that
Watch
time when that
Gynax.
came out, Gynax could do no wrong.
Yep. And then I watched Mahoramatic and I was like, what?
What?
What the
Chobit,
fuck?
same show.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so
But then Little Witch Academia.
yeah, so Little